You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Pittsburgh State aims to attract future healthcare workers by opening up a hospital simulation.
Also, Jasper County Treatment Court helps raise awareness of the rising number of overdoses.
And we're looking at a lot of dry air over us right now, but what does that mean for your weekend forecast? We'll have all the details on that coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
And I'm meteorologist Sam Lane, sitting in for the vacationing Chris Warner, who's got an early start to the holiday weekend.
Yes, he does, absolutely. But it's shaping up to be quite the nice weekend, right?
It is. It's looking great. We're
more.
off to a great start so far with cool temperatures this morning. This afternoon, we're going to see temperatures rising into the 80s. And then as we start the weekend, things are going to be changing a little bit, but I think everyone's going to like it.
Hey, it's the final days of summer. We'll get what we can, right?
That's exactly right.
Well, Pittsburgh State University aims to attract more future healthcare workers by opening a hospital simulation.
KOAM's Amber Jenkins attended yesterday's ribbon cutting ceremony and talked with future nurses about the upgrade in their studies.
It's official. The new simulation hospital on Pittsburgh State University campus is ready to train new nurses. Students, faculty, and alumni were eager to attend the long-awaited ribbon-cutting ceremony.
We have been working weekly all through COVID and after, and it is just a dream come true to have a simulation hospital with as realistic of an environment as we can possibly provide.
The $8 million simulation hospital was funded by private donors. Students will be able to work on a variety of AI-made patients performing different procedures.
We can do this with any age group, even the unborn, clear to the dying patient, well patients, sick patients, and we can share our simulation hospital with other pre-professional health programs.
While the simulation hospital was being built, nursing students had to adapt to other classrooms.
I've never been in this building except for a couple times last year whenever there was kind of going on at the beginning. So it was really interesting to see it all happen last year and hear about it, and we were all super excited to be in one building instead of being in 5 different buildings and trying to figure out where to go every day.
The 10,000 square foot simulation hospital includes preparation rooms, waiting areas, and more environments to immerse students and prepare them for the real deal.
It is so much different than a real patient, but I also think it's so much alike that I'm super excited to be able to use it, and hopefully it'll better my understanding of real patients whenever the time comes.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Originally, the nursing school held about 65 students. Now it can accommodate 120.
That's like double.
It is. I mean, it seems great. State-of-the-art facilities. So excited to see the future of those young students.
All right, well, we have some exciting news as far as weather goes, especially as we head towards the long holiday weekend. We're looking at a lot of dry air over us right now, and that's going to be changing as we go into the early part of next week. You can see an upper level low spinning in northern Louisiana, and as that starts to what we call retrograde, going backwards in contrary to the normal flow, as it retreats back across Texas, some of this deeper moisture across the southeast will start to spill into our area, and that will increase the humidity, but also increasing our storm chances, and we definitely need some rainfall. But in the meantime, we're going to be looking at a UV index today of 8, which is high, so about 20 to 25 minutes of burn time, so make sure you're taking the proper precautions if you're going to be out and about. You also want to take along a box of Kleenex because we are dealing with a lot of ragweed, so the allergy index today is 11 on the scale, which is basically at the top of it, and a lot of chenopod as well and nettle. So if you're suffering, that's the reason, and that's going to continue for at least another few days as well. All right, your afternoon high is going to be around 87 degrees with mostly sunny skies. I'll have more weather in the main weather segment coming up in just a little bit. Caitlin?
Thanks, Sam. Well, Pittsburgh police are seeking a person of interest in a homicide which occurred earlier this month. On August 20th, law enforcement officers were dispatched to 202 North Locust Street in Pittsburgh in reference to a shooting outside of a bar. According to the report, Justin Krogan of Pittsburgh was found shot and later died of his injuries. Authorities have not publicly named the person of interest. And fire swept through a home in Neosho, Missouri yesterday afternoon. The call came in at around 1:30 from 1800 block of Rachel Drive. Flames had already breached the roof when responders arrived, and they say everyone was safely out of the house and no firefighters were injured. The home was a total loss. PSU campus police respond to an incident involving a firearm. The incident occurred last night near the intersection of Ford and Homer. Police say the aggressor and all victims are students at Pittsburg State University. Authorities arrested a suspect near Carney Smith Stadium, but they have not yet filed formal charges in the case. The trial will go forward for a Missouri man accused of shooting a Kansas City teenager on his front step. That's what the judge decided yesterday after hearing testimony and viewing evidence in the case during a hearing. Andrew Lester has pleaded not guilty to 2 felony assault charges. Lester is accused of shooting 16-year-old Ralph Yarl in April when the teen knocked on the wrong door while trying to pick up his brothers. Yarl was shot twice in the head and arm, but he survived.
12 witnesses testified during today's preliminary hearing. In addition to their testimony, multiple exhibits were admitted into evidence. These included recordings of 911 phone calls made by neighbors, photos of the scene, and a recording of the defendant's call to 911. After reviewing all the evidence presented in court, the judge found the state had met its burden and set the case to circuit court where a trial can happen.
Lester will be back in court September 20th for an arraignment. The Jasper County Treatment Court yesterday helped raise awareness of a rising number of overdoses. They hosted a walk from the courts building to the Recovery Outreach Community Center.
There's so many overdoses that are happening today, and people don't realize what's in their drugs, what's being mixed in their drugs, and it's happening young kids all the way up to older, adults. And it's just something that the community needs to be aware of, and the importance of Narcan, of how it could save a life.
After the walk, the court hosted a training on how to use Narcan. Coming up, Moken Dragway sends a racer our way as we learn more about a fun event happening over Labor Day weekend.
And it's not beer goggles, we promise. We'll learn why finding someone attractive after you've been drinking is merely just liquid courage. You're watching the KOAM Morning News right here on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
In Health Watch this morning, a new study is debunking the idea of beer goggles, which suggests that consuming alcohol makes people seem better looking. The study, published in the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs, found alcohol did not increase perceptions of attractiveness, but rather gave people liquid courage, making them more likely to approach people they find attractive. While previous research asked participants to view photos and rate people's attractiveness when sober and intoxicated, this time researchers asked participants to pick people they would most like to interact with in a future experiment. They found that drunk participants were 1.7 times more likely to pick one of their top 4 attractive candidates. And the Texas Supreme Court has allowed a ban on gender-affirming care for most minors in the state to take effect Friday. Thursday's decision comes a week after a state district judge issued a temporary injunction to block the law. The district judge had noted in her injunction that the law likely violates the Texas Constitution, including the rights of parents to make decisions concerning the care of their children. The Texas Supreme Court decision did not address the arguments for the temporary injunction. The law prohibits most minors from receiving treatments such as hormone therapy and puberty blockers. There are exceptions for those who are already receiving gender-affirming care before the law was passed, but those minors will also be forced to wean off drugs prescribed as part of their treatment plan. And baseball is traditionally all about hand-eye coordination, but a growing group is proving you can play without keeping your eye on the ball. An adapted version of the sport is opening opportunities for the blind and visually impaired. Jesse Mitchell has more.
Play ball! At a clinic in Central Park, the Lighthouse Guild and the U.S. Blind Baseball Association help new players beat the odds. Here, everyone has the same level of vision, 0. Wearing blindfolds, players navigate bases, each making a different sound to signal which direction to run.
Our goal is to get our runners to make it from home plate to first base running at full speed with a mask on in 11 seconds.
How scary is that?
It's pretty frightening.
Coach Ed Plumacher discovered the sport after losing his sight at age 49. Last year, he helped lead the national team to bronze in the International Blind Baseball Cup. Teammate Kiana Glanton makes it look easy. Within 3 months of picking up a bat, the mother with partial sight was one of the top hitters.
The first time you run like Frankenstein, you literally put your hands out because you're scared. I mean, think about it. I'm going to tell you to run as fast as you can without seeing.
Her daughter inspires her to overcome that fear.
I think about what my daughter must be seeing, watching her mom. And then I run as fast as I can around those bases.
With more than 200,000 visually impaired people across New York City, more access means more opportunities for success.
The Lighthouse Guild Lightning.
The Lightning launches as the USBBA encourages other states to build baseball programs for better competition throughout the country's blind community.
It gives New York another sports team to root for. This is all about access and inclusion.
I don't see smiles anymore, but I can hear it in voices, and that's a wonderful thing.
Through practice and persistence, these athletes are cracking open unlimited potential.
The Lighthouse Guild aims to find a permanent home for the team to practice. With a turf field, the players don't have to worry about tripping over.
All right, let's take a look outside right now at Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Looking pretty nice this morning. Lots of blue sky and lots of sunshine this afternoon is going to allow temperatures to warm up pretty nicely. Right now, radar is all clear, and it's going to stay that way through most of the weekend. We have temperatures that are very cool this morning, 53 degrees. Can you believe that in Stockton right now? That's cool enough for a jacket. 58 in Fort Scott, 58 in Nevada, 61 in Miami, and 63 down in Anderson as well as Veneta. Dew points are in the low 50s, and that's what's allowing temperatures to really fall into the 50s in the morning. And that's good news. As we head towards the weekend, the dew points are still going to be in the refreshing and pleasant range. And then as we go towards the latter part of the weekend, the humidity is going to come back just a little bit. Rain chances are going to be pretty much near zero for the next 36 hours. And unfortunately, that's not going to help the drought situation, which still is exceptional in Chautauqua and Elk and Montgomery counties. And of course, extreme drought for Vernon and Cedar counties in southwestern Missouri. We're going to have to wait for this upper level low that's spinning over Louisiana to retreat back to the west. And as it does, our winds will turn around to the south and east. And that's when we'll see the dew points increase, the humidity, and also the rain chances, especially starting on Monday afternoon. But a better chance of storms, I think, on Tuesday and Wednesday. And some of those storms could be strong, so we'll keep an eye on that. Rainfall amounts are expected to be heaviest in the northern sections of our viewing area, lighter amounts elsewhere, but hopefully everyone will get a little showers and thunderstorms over the next 7 days. But today, mostly fair, with temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s, especially in southeastern Kansas. Then tonight, lows once again very comfortable in the 50s up to the north and east, 60s elsewhere. And then on Saturday afternoon, we're expecting temperatures to be right around 90 degrees in the afternoon. And then Sunday morning, lows in the 60s with increasing moisture, and that will continue into Sunday afternoon with highs near 90. Of course, we'll have more details on our weekend forecast in just a little bit. Coming up, we'll take you to a world where magic and dragons are real in a smash hit game known as Baldur's Gate 3. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in studio today is Chris Schneider, and he's here to tell us all about an event coming up at Mocan Dragway happening this Labor Day weekend. Welcome to the show. So tell us about this exciting event that you have going on.
Well, this is probably the biggest event of the year for Mocan Dragway. Carl Blanton and his crew are doing a great job putting this together. We'll be running Funny Car Chaos, which is a point series where we run all around the nation. Cars from all over the country are there. We even have a car in from Sweden that came in just for this race. So it's a big deal. There'll be well over 30 funny cars racing. And those of you that know funny cars, they're the bad boys of drag racing. And we'll be putting on quite a show there. It's very family friendly. The cars are wild looking, they're loud, they put on a big show. The kids love it, so pack up the kids and bring them out. It is going to be an awesome show.
Oh, so fun. So this is new to me. So how does it work? Is it like a bunch of cars? Is it 2 cars?
2 cars,
And
run at a
then-
time, side by side. We run an 1/8 mile, which is 660 feet. You go from a standing stop to the finish line in 4 seconds or less.
Whoa, that's really fast. And so is it just whoever wins that one, then they get
First
back
one
in?
there wins, and you keep going till
Until
there's
there's no
only
winner?
one car.
I love that. I mean, how many people are you expecting to turn out for this?
There'll be thousands out there.
Thousands? I mean, do we need to have protective ear?
It's a good idea. Yeah, you know, you're back off the track a little bit, but these cars are very loud, very loud. So if it's a good idea to bring ear protection, but a lot of people like the sound and the thunder of the cars.
How did you even get into this?
I was brought up around it at a very young age. I was hooked before I could even drive, and I've been doing it for well over 40 years.
Tell me the engineering that happens for these cars.
They're about like the space shuttle in a lot of ways. It's unbelievable the technology that goes on in these cars. A lot of horsepower, a lot of electronics, and a lot of safety involved to go that fast and keep us old guys still going all this time. So safety is a key point, but you get to come around to the cars. The fans can come up close right into the pits. Every ticket is a pit pass. You get to come right up to us, talk to us, take pictures, get autographs, go right up to the cars, check them out. Drag racing is very unique in that aspect.
Love that. Okay, and so what days is it happening? What are the times? Where's the place?
Friday and Saturday. It'll be, tonight and tomorrow will be the Funny Car Chaos. MoKan is running a regular event on Sunday, but the big show is Friday and Saturday. Friday evening, it's 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock will be Funny Cars, and then 2 o'clock on Saturday, and then 5, 7, and 9 are eliminations.
Awesome. That looks like a fun time. Well, make sure you check out MoKan happening this Labor Day weekend. We'll be right back after the break.
Well, a video game set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons has been a huge hit this summer with PC gamers, and it's now heading to the PlayStation console.
All right, well, Rick Damagala reports.
Few mortals ever glimpse what you're about to see. But don't be alarmed, I'm here with you.
Baldur's Gate 3 might be the best example of playing Dungeons & Dragons without pen and paper or funny-looking dice.
You may just be the godsend we've been praying for.
Here's the thing about describing Baldur's Gate 3 to people is I don't want to overwhelm them if they're not familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, as admittedly I am not super familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, but it is an incredibly in-depth simulation, a computer simulation of what it's like to play a campaign in Dungeons & Dragons.
You're the same as me. You have a mind flayer tadpole in your brain.
Even if you don't know any of that, you're just in for this rich, layered, beautifully scripted, beautifully performed by these incredible actors and animated by beautiful visual animation, some of the best facial animation, especially in a game of this scale. It's just a staggering accomplishment.
You want to play the hero so badly? Fine. Let's make this interesting.
The game has become wildly popular in the PC gaming space since launching in August, and next heads to the PlayStation 5.
Together, we might survive.
I'll enjoy watching you try.
Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Well, Sam, did you play Dungeons and Dragons in high school?
I attended a D&D party once when I was in high school. This was back in the late 80s, back when they had, dice
yes,
and, all that. So it wasn't fancy like this. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, a newspaper reporter from Marion, Kansas files a federal lawsuit.
And we're looking at a beautiful morning shaping up across the 4 states and a little bit of fog out there. What does your Labor Day weekend look like? Well, we'll have the answer in your forecast when we come back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Well, Joplin has chosen its next police chief. The city yesterday announced Rich Pearson will take the position. Pearson is currently captain of the Jefferson County Public School System Police Department in Louisville, Kentucky. He served 22 years in the Louisville Metro Police Department and taught in the Criminal Justice Department of Ivy Tech Community College in Sellersburg, Indiana. Pearson's first day on the job will be December 18th. And a newspaper reporter in Kansas has filed a federal lawsuit over a controversial search and seizure of her newsroom. Marion County Record reporter Debbie Gruber has accused Marion Police Chief Gideon Cody of violating her rights. In a sworn statement, Cody suggested the raid was necessary to see if information about the driving records of a local restaurant owner had been obtained illegally. And in the complaint, Gruber said that her work computer was taken during the search. She also said Cody physically seized her personal cell phone, which was not included in the warrant. Gruber believes she was targeted because she had been investigating allegations of misconduct against Cody. The police chief has not yet commented on the lawsuit. A K-State program encourages students across the Sunflower State to leap into the STEM studies. Project LEAPS is an acronym for Learning, Exploration, and Application for Prospective Engineering students. It is a collaborative project, and it's made possible by the U.S. Department of Defense grant for nearly $2.7 million. It'll benefit about 500 middle and high school students and 53 educators by the end of 2023. The project aims to help mentor and promote STEM degrees and careers to 7th through 12th grade students throughout the state. This is the second year of the grant. And the city of Joplin releases a study on pedestrian safety. The study found an average one of more than 15 crashes involved pedestrians, and the study also found that at least one fatality every year. The study also includes that 3 categories for recommendation to reduce these numbers include improved education, enforcement, and engineering. The Joplin City Council will vote on Tuesday whether to adopt the recommendations. We provided a link to the full study on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, we're going to have a beautiful day across the area. Lots of dry air in place, but we have an upper level low spinning over Louisiana this morning that's going to retreat back towards the west. And as it does, we're going to see the humidity increasing as we head into the weekend, and also our rain chances increasing as well. But today, we're going to have lots of sunshine. In fact, the UV index is going to be 8, which is about 20 to 25 minutes for burn time, and also we're dealing with a lot of allergies. If you've been sneezing a lot, it's probably due to ragweed, as it's extremely high, chenopod, and also nettle, and it's going to be that way again tomorrow. So this afternoon we're going to see mostly sunny skies with temperatures rising into the 80s to around 87 degrees for our afternoon high. And then as we head down the lane, we're going to see a dry weekend for the most part, but increasing humidity and then also increasing storm chances as we go into the early part of next week. And then we're also going to see above normal temperatures as we officially start meteorological fall today, with it being September 1st. And it looks like the early part of September is going to be a little bit on the warm side. And of course, we'll have more details on your Labor Day weekend forecast in just a little bit. Caitlin?
Yesterday, Freeman hosted a disaster seminar. The healthcare group recently hosted a similar session covering how to respond to a disaster, but yesterday's session focused on how to prepare for one.
So we're having to re-educate people to understand what could happen. And as we talked about Joplin, it's not just locally here, the tornado. They have used the lessons learned from Joplin all across the country and the world.
The seminar wrapped up at 5 yesterday. Pitt State aims to attract more future healthcare workers by opening a simulation hospital. The $8 million addition was funded by private owners. Students will be able to work on a variety of AI-made patients performing different procedures. The 10,000 square feet simulation hospital includes preparation rooms, waiting areas, and more environments to immerse students and prepare them for the real deal.
It is so much different than a real patient, but I also think it's so much alike that I'm super excited to be able to use it, and hopefully it'll better my understanding of real patients whenever the time comes.
Originally, the nursing school held approximately 65 students. Now it can accommodate 120. Businesses from Thayer, Kansas are struggling with the impacts of road work. Some report losing up to 75% of their income. At the beginning of August, the Kansas Department of Transportation closed US 169 to traffic from Thayer south to US 400 to add replacement on the stream. And the construction takes longer for clients coming in from the cities. Students are also being affected when they go to their school.
We've definitely slowed down business-wise. I mean, throughout the whole town. It's just that with the highway shut down, I mean, we kind of expect that. It's a little harder to get to us, so
There's times I go without a paycheck, so the other employees, we don't have to lay them off. That way they can provide.
According to KDOT, the construction is progressing as planned. With that, it should be concluded on October 29th. Pitt State football yesterday took on the Washburn Ichabods for their first game of the season. But before that, Gorilla fans got together for a tailgate party. Gorilla Fest featured bounce houses, balloons, face painting, live music, and food. And Franklin Technology Center students are taking on a huge project. The students will be a part of the renovation of the Bullseye building in downtown Joplin. The project offers students the chance to draw up plans, perform inspections, and create a design to revitalize this historic downtown building.
It is vital. I can spend all day, every day standing in front of the class talking about it in theory, giving them assignments that, oh, the teacher is the one that's going to be grading this. But with something like this, they actually have to go through all the hoops. They find out what it's really like. And it's just an awesome opportunity for them to see, is this something worth doing?
Students will keep track of the renovation process throughout the entire school year. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means it's time for Shannon Becker to come and share his big 3 stories of the week.
And it's a beautiful morning shaping up across the 4 states with the bright sunshine. And what does your weekend look like? Well, we'll have the forecast when we come back.
Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Big 3 live and local stories. What's happening where you live. Number 3 this week. It was yesterday afternoon about 1:30. Call for fire in Neosho on Rachel Drive. It's in the southeast portion of town. As firefighters arrived just about 5 minutes after that first fire alarm, flames are already coming through the roof. The home is a total loss. Everybody's out of the house safely, but wow, if you could see those pictures, that was amazing that it burned so quickly. Firefighters had to switch off quite often because of the extreme heat, which continues, like Sam said. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First, a helicopter from Missouri State Highway Patrol assisted the Joplin Police Department and other agencies on Friday night in an aggressive traffic detail. In fact, what they're really targeting are motorcycles that we've seen recently that travel around, call it C&I, careless and imprudent drivers, making others have dangerous situations. One of the motorcycles, the helicopter tracked to South Minnesota Avenue. The driver ran inside. It became a standoff about 2 hours. Joplin Police K-9 was out. Then they rushed into the residence, and the man had climbed into the ceiling, which is kind of typical. It happens sometimes. Could you imagine? I'm not up here.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of stuck up there. It's not the best hiding spot.
Yeah,
They're going to find you.
So the K-9 went up into the ceiling, apprehended the man, and he had some stitches to get sewn up. But Tyrell Harbin is in jail currently on warrants and then also new charges of felony resisting. Saturday, 11 a.m., reports of a serious crash. A Lamborghini went off I-44 into a deep ravine at Mercy Hospital. 2 people in that car. The driver did not survive, and the female passenger was released from the hospital this week. Speed is to blame for that crash. That vehicle, about $300,000. I think.
Gosh, and it's just so scary how far it went down.
Our bonus story of the week, it's Dr. Grody, a pediatrician here in Joplin, has retired. A lot of people might not know his name, but he is the pediatrician who makes balloon animals for the kids. He's done that for years and years and years, 45 years. And all the kids that came to his reception the other day, from baby to now, like this picture, and then mom to son, generations he's been around.
Yes.
Everybody got a balloon animal that was there. Even some of the adults walked away. So congratulations, Dr. Grody, on his great work and retirement.
Well deserved.
Yeah, that's our bonus story of the week. KOAM News Now.
All right. Well, gosh, those are some great stories. We've got everything covered.
Non-stop.
Who would have thought, right? And I'm sure there's going to be even more already for Labor Day weekend. Want to warn our viewers, please be safe, drive safe, don't drive drunk, have fun, but just be responsible, right?
Yep.
I mean, there's already accidents happening that you're seeing already out there. So we got to make sure that we get you all safe and to your friends and loved ones every day. But Shannon, you're wonderful.
Well, you're
great reporting.
You're a good liar.
All right. Well, we'll see you right back here after these messages.
All right, we're looking at a beautiful morning this morning down in Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Lots of blue skies and lots of sunshine for this afternoon. Radar is all clear and is going to stay that way through most of the weekend, and then some changes as we head into the early part of next week. But look at these temperatures. 56 in Fort Scott right now, 59 in Chautauqua. Just a wonderful morning out there. 62 for our friends down in Bentonville, and it's all because of these low dew points. When you have low dew points in the 50s, it allows the temperatures to really fall at night, and that makes it refreshing and pleasant out there, and that's going to continue for another day or so as well. Unfortunately, rain chances are going to be pretty close to zero for the next 36 hours, and I wish we had some rain because the drought is still continuing across southeastern Kansas and really most of our area, with the exception of Benton, McDonald, and Delaware counties in our area. And of course, it's exceptional in Chautauqua, Elk, and Montgomery counties, so we definitely need some rainfall. And it looks like there is some in the forecast, but we have to wait a little bit. This upper level low is going to drift out towards the west, and as it does, our winds are turned around to the southeast, and that will introduce some moisture coming up from the south and east as we go into Monday, but especially Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's when the rain chances really start to increase across our area. How much rain? Well, most of the heaviest rain is going to be up towards the north, where they could pick up around 6/10 to maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain. Lighter amounts elsewhere, but hopefully everyone will start to get a little bit of something as we head into the holiday weekend. But this afternoon, mostly fair, with temperatures in the 80s and 90s. And then tonight, once again, lows are going to be dropping down into the 50s and the 60s. And over the next 7 days, we're going to see that dry air continuing through into Sunday. But then storms come in on Monday, better chance of storms on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then lesser chance as we go through the rest of the work week with temperatures near 90 degrees. We'll be back right after this.
For people without vision loss or blindness, sight can often be taken for granted. And while traditional guide dogs are available for people who need the help navigating their surroundings, researchers overseas believe that the robotic guide dog armed with room mapping sensors could be a better fit.
Lauren Green has the story.
In the near future, robotic dogs could replace actual canines as service animals for people who are blind and visually impaired. That's the vision of researchers at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. They're busy customizing a four-legged bot to see how well it can safely navigate people who can't see. The team outfitted the robo-dog with special room mapping sensors, which use cameras and lasers to identify its surroundings.
You can create a map on the spot and then can decide which is the best path to take to reach the target.
Those sensors are also critical in ensuring the dog reacts to unexpected objects that may cross its path.
It can avoid dynamic obstacles, like if some people or some other obstacles show up.
And while traditional guide dogs are already helping people with extreme vision loss, Swiss researchers say the pups have their limitations, citing how their robotic dog can be programmed to do specific tasks in unfamiliar places. The team also believes their technology is perfect for blind people who may be allergic to real dogs, but still need assistance getting around.
I mean, for some people, they are still a good option, but they are very costly to train, and not all people want to actually have a dog.
As researchers continue working on their robot guide dogs, their invention could have real impacts across the country. According to the CDC, roughly 6 million Americans suffer from vision loss and 1 million are blind. Lauren Green, Fox News.
I don't know. I kind of like the furry
I know, call me old-fashioned, but I like the real CNI dogs.
You can't pet a robot.
Yeah, right?
It just doesn't work.
All right.
All right, well, we have some nice weather to talk about as we head into the weekend. I know a lot of folks are going to be heading out and about. Temperatures this afternoon rising into the upper 80s and lower 90s. And then tonight, very comfortable once again with lows in the 50s and 60s. And that's going to feel pretty nice. And then tomorrow, again, nice with temperatures near 90 degrees. And if we take a look at Saturday afternoon, we're going to see, or actually as we go into Sunday morning, lows in the 60s. And then Sunday afternoon, temperatures in the 90s with isolated storms, and then Monday morning more humid with lows in the 70s. And I know a lot of folks are going to be heading out to the lake, so let's take a look at that real quick. Elk City Lake about 4.5 feet below normal. Grand Lake is looking pretty good at about a foot below normal where it's supposed to be, and Table Rock about 1.6 feet below. But Stockton right now, they're really low, about 4.5, almost 5 feet below where it is supposed to be. Over the next 7 days, we're going to be looking at temperatures near or close to 90 degrees with a chance of storms as we go into Monday afternoon. Better chance of storms on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then drier after that with temperatures still above normal for this time of year as we start autumn today, meteorological autumn.
What?
Yeah. We consider September 1st meteorological autumn. Of course, astronomical autumn doesn't officially start until later September.
Oh,
so we're kind of getting an early start.
Wonderful. Okay, that's good to know. I
Yes.
didn't know there was a difference. So
Yep.
happy meteorological first
Yes,
day of
thank you
fall.
very much.
All right, we'll be right back after this break. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Pittsburgh police are seeking a person of interest in a homicide which occurred earlier this month. On August 20th, law enforcement officers were dispatched to 202 North Locust Street in Pittsburgh in reference to a shooting outside of a bar. According to the report, Justin Krogan of Pittsburgh was found shot and later died of his injuries. Authorities have not publicly named the person of interest. Fire swept through a home in Neosho, Missouri yesterday afternoon. The call came in at around 1:30 from 1800 block of Rachel Drive. Flames had already breached the roof when responders arrived, and they say everyone was safely out of the house and no firefighters were injured. The house, however, was a total loss. PSU campus police respond to an incident involving a firearm. The incident occurred last night near the intersection of Ford and Homer. Police say all aggressors and victims are students at Pittsburgh State University. Authorities arrested a suspect near Carney Smith Stadium, but they have not yet filed formal charges in the case. And Lester will be back in court September 20th for an arraignment. The trial will go forward for a Missouri man accused of shooting a Kansas City teenager on his front step. The incident occurred last night near the intersection of Ford and Homer. Police say the aggressors were victims.
And here's a look at your 10-day forecast. Mostly sunny today with a high of 87. Then we get into the 90s as we head towards the rest of the holiday weekend, with scattered showers possible on Tuesday and Wednesday with a 40% coverage on that. And then we stay close to 90 degrees as we go through the rest of the forecast period, but lesser chances of storms as we head towards next weekend. But all in all, not a bad forecast to get out there and enjoy the holiday weekend. Just make sure that you stay safe and also stay hydrated. All right, so that's the way it's looking right now, Caitlin. And like I said, a lot of folks are going to be heading out to the lakes this weekend. And so if you're going to be boating, it looks like the area lakes are looking pretty good with around a foot below normal at
Yes.
Grand Lake and Table Rock,
Okay.
and 4.5 feet up at Stockton.
All right, that's good to know for you boaters out there.
Yep.
Well, today is World Letter Writing Day.
Author Richard Simpkin founded the unofficial holiday back in 2014. Simpkin fell in love with writing letters while writing to people he considered to be legends in Australia.
He now does letter writing workshops and promotes it as a way for adults to take a break from social media. To celebrate World Letter Writing Day, just pick a friend or relative, grab some paper and pen, and write a letter to them.
You know, I bet a lot of people don't know how to write cursive anymore.
You know what? I bet they don't.
Yeah.
We grew up having to do that, so yeah, interesting. I
Yeah.
still write in cursive.
We'll have to write a letter about that.
You know what I am? I'll send you a letter later today.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning, and we'll be right back with more news at noon.
That's right.
And have a great Labor Day weekend.